The first question on the card is going to be, as a new inventor, one of the largest problems is finding a good manufacturer. How do you go about finding a quality manufacturer? And what are some of the tips to negotiate with a manufacturer? Either one of you guys. Well, I definitely know you know manufacturing.
Yes.
Why don't you
Yes.
tell us about that?
For me, I was fortunate, but my story was I found a U.S. manufacturer because we all know products overseas can be made cheaper. So I found a U.S. manufacturer, and it was as simple as getting in a phone book, making calls, searching an email, and just putting things out there, explaining your idea, and getting feedback from your manufacturer. Is this manufacturer going to want to make your product? Because if they want to make your product, you're going to have more negotiating power. If they don't want to make your product, if they feel like they're too busy, you probably need to find somebody else.
But what kind of money did you spend?
Manufacturing, I spent about $20,000 to $30,000 setting up my molds to make my product runs. And the very first thing I had to do was know how big the product will be, what size boxes it'll be in, what kind of container I would ship it in, and what volumes I would need to order, for mass production. Because then those mass production numbers is how you can actually communicate with the manufacturer. And I was able to actually build and finance my my mold cost into the cost of the product. So I was able to sign an agreement with my manufacturer, how many units I'm ordering, and get the units coming in, and I didn't have to write a $30,000 check up front. It was basically built into the cost of the product, and I own my mold. So, once that part got taken care of, my manufacturing costs and bottom line on the product reduced about $1.50 a unit, which that's a lot of money when you're manufacturing. And from there, everything, I have the relationship still. I still have the molds and, good credit with the manufacturer. From there, it's, the manufacturer is in business to make products. They want somebody that will have a good product. They will try to help throw designs out there at you. They want to stay busy. They want those machines to keep rolling. So number one important thing I'd say is find a manufacturer that has the ability to make your product, and then find out what your order potential is with that manufacturer and start your negotiations there, because they want the next iPad case, they want the next Hydromax, they want to sell 1 million of these things with you. So manufacturers are very good partners.
Yeah. So the small issue with that is, and you're absolutely correct, is still manufacturers are in business. So at what level do you protect yourself? Because they have a factory. If you don't show up and you don't buy more goods, and that thing goes out the back door to somebody else. How about Mike? You want to share that with us? How do you protect yourself, or at what stage do you go to share this with somebody?
Are you saying from a, product licensing type thing?
No, I'm just saying, how do you, whether you're an American manufacturer or you go in Jingchak-cho over in Taiwan, takes your stuff and ships it all around the world because you came up with an idea and you don't know anymore. At what stage do you go to a manufacturer? You understand what I'm saying? Where you risk putting your idea out there.
Yeah, I think it definitely depends on the product. If you have like for instance, if you came out with a new T-shirt, you might, be comfortable by sharing your idea with manufacturing and getting those made. But if you have a proprietary type new product idea, you're going to be a little bit more close to the cuff. You're going to want to vet who the people you're working with. My particular experience with manufacturers is, again, using the web. There's a couple companies online. I think it's called Alibaba.com or something like that. But you actually, if you go on there with your idea or your product, if you have a drawing or what have you, you can put it on there and you can actually get bids from, 20 or 30 manufacturers, and they'll tell you, production run, startup cost, all that type of information. And that's always good for a business plan if you're trying to get seed money or something like that.
You seem like a wealth of knowledge about a lot of these companies that I haven't even heard of. I think that maybe you should share it with John so he can email out or list on the site for everybody to know about these things. This is informative. and I'm gonna beat you guys to it with my new ideas. So, so one of the, I'm gonna take this one if you guys don't mind. The question is, when does the product become a brand? What comes first, the chicken or the egg? So, I think that this is a question, and everybody believes that they're a brand. They're personally a brand, I believe, and even, somebody who really just changed the planet obviously passed away this week, and Apple was really Jobs. That was what it was, an extension of his personal brand, right? In my last book, Display of Power, and I think that we're going to give it away digitally free, right? We're going to give it digitally free. In my last book, there's what I call the 4 stages of anything, whether it's a family, whether it's a product, anything. And the stages go to item, label, brand, and lifestyle. Now, let me show you. Water is a substance that we can get anywhere, in lakes, rain, anywhere, ponds, and that is an item. When you go to a store and you reach for something and it's water, it's bottled water, but it has a certain name on it, you may not know the name, but you obviously know this is bottled water. That becomes a label. When you then get to the brand stage, it's like the movie. You understand it's Avion. You ask for Perrier because you think it's from the springs of France or something like that. It's the brand. And when you become a lifestyle, you categorize, and very few get to be a lifestyle. Your name is synonymous with everything in it. Not an MP3 player, it's an iPod. Not a soda or cola, it's Coke. Not a copying machine as in Canon, it's go make a Xerox. And when you can get to the level of lifestyle, is you dominate everything. Brand is very hard already, so it's not that easy. FUBU, I didn't put 3 sleeves on a shirt. I just created an item. Then I put a label on it. I had a generation and a culture that purchased it and followed it, and it became a brand. Then, fortunately or unfortunately, depends on where you are in the country or the world, you say FUBU, you immediately think of a certain looking individual. Maybe that's true or not, but it still became a lifestyle. That hurt in some senses to me, because sometimes when I would walk in the room, they would say, well, the FUBU guy's gonna come in here slinging a gun with gold teeth and baggy jeans on. And I'd walk in the room and they say, who the hell are you? But that is the categories that I believe you are. Item, product label, brand, lifestyle. Item, product, label, brand, lifestyle. Let me see, the next one is, what do we have timing-wise? All right. I hear you back there. All right, let me look at some of these better ones. Somebody said, why did you sell FUBU? I did not. Just so everybody knows, let me explain what happened with FUBU, because a lot of people ask that question. So FUBU ran its course in America, as always, as any brand is expected to last 3 to 5 years. We lasted about 12 years, and then somebody's going to say, well, what about Ralph Lauren? Yeah, what about Michael Jordan as well? There's a certain categories that people dominate forever, but everybody has their challenges. We took FUBU out of the market intentionally in most of the categories in 2001, and then I acquired Coogee and Heather Ed and Drunken Monkey and Kappa United States and Ted Baker, and I acquired a couple other brands that we put out. We didn't let people know we owned them, because if you didn't like us from FUBU, you probably wouldn't like the new brands that we had. So a lot of times people would be wearing a Coogee shirt and say, hey man, your FUBU stuff sucks. And I'd go, no doubt, thank you. But in that time, we expanded over into Europe and Asia, and we opened 50 international stores everywhere from Saudi Arabia to Mexico. We did do a co-venture with Samsung, and they took the territories of China and Taiwan, and I think we have about 400 stores over there in that area. and we still do suits and things over here. And now FUBU, being FB, is actually more known for another brand. So maybe Zuckerberg, because I'm the only one that can make anything with FB on it in category 25, will have to call me one day and buy my stuff for me. So, or maybe I'll sue him if he does anything. And that'll be a good payday. All right, so let's go for the next one. Can you speak on entering business ventures? Can you speak on entering business ventures that you are not passionate about or an expert in, but you see the opportunity? I guess that one's for me, right? Are you guys investing?
That's probably one more up your alley.
All right, so entering in business ventures that I'm not passionate about, an expert in, or see an opportunity. Well, if I'm not passionate about it, there's no need. An expert in it, I'm going to hire the expert. But I see the opportunity, well, then that means I'm passionate about it. If not, I'm just going to play the stock market. I've realized that if I don't know everything, let me just go and tap onto somebody else who does, like Steve Jobs or Bill Gates or Subways or something else like that. So. Great question here. Many times as an entrepreneur, inventor, you may be the only person that believes in your idea. How do you, a lot of scratching here, buy in from those, who wrote this? Stand up and tell us what you're saying.
Sorry about that.
No problem.
Well, my question is, many times it's like an entrepreneur, inventor, you are the only person that like believes in your idea. And so my question is, how do you get buy-in from others that you know that can help you, but they don't necessarily believe?
All right, so I'm going to take lead, but then I'm going to pass it off. So yes, if you're the only one that believes in it, what usually happens is as soon as you go out there, people tell you it cannot happen, people tell you you're dead ass wrong, and people tell you you're a moron. That's usually just your family. I'm not even talking about when you get outside to everybody else, right? So it's a challenge. You have to believe in yourself, but I think to be, who could say it a little bit, more professional manner, tell us guys, and let Mike, you take lead on this one. Tell us what do you do with all the naysayers and the doubters and the haters? Is that 30 minutes, 30 seconds?
I guess I would say from,
30 minutes?
from our community, you know how we are sometimes. So we're haters by nature. So
No.
so I mean, when you have an idea, I mean, if you believe in it, the thing I do, and like I said, I come up with a lot of ideas, and my wife is actually a real good partner for me. She'll let me know, if something's just ridiculous off the top. But you got to find some people that you trust, some people that are knowledgeable, that you don't, and that are they're going to hold your ideas and not let them out. But just get input from people. Also, a big thing I like to do is I like to search. When I come up with ideas, I like to search for the market. Like for instance, I had an idea for how you lose two socks together when you put them in the dryer. And I came up with the idea, okay, something that you could attach to your socks and you just smack them together when you put them in the washing machine, they stay together. And the first thing I did, just went to Google and I was like, okay, how many people have this problem? And you'll do searches and it's amazing. You'll see a lot of information on that type of stuff. But unfortunately with that idea, there was somebody already out there with that. But I think it goes back to, if you have faith in the idea, that's good and that's great. But if there's no market for that idea, you got a problem. So you really got to make sure there's a market for the idea before you put all that effort, all that funding, all that money into it. So that would be my advice.
Chris?
The thing I'd say is